Hello, my name is Fiona and today I'm going to show you how to make this pair of slippers. I have used the two colours in them just to show you. There's you create the main part of the slipper first, and then you sort of sew around the trimming around the edges, so you can do it in two colours or you can just do it all in the one colour. But they're pretty simple, mostly using the treble crochet stitch, and you can adjust them to your size. You can make them as long as you want so they fit snugly over your foot, but the part for the toe, I mean, they're going to fit hopefully most of my female feet anyway. Yeah, so I'll show you how we make these. Okay, when you have your first 5 treble crochets done, you can pull in the circle a bit tighter and then go back round to your first stitch, and now we're going to put 2 treble crochets in each stitch. So this is going to be a bit awkward until it all sort of, the circle all evens out round. But so anyway, just into each treble crochet in the row below, we're going to put 2 treble crochets in this time, so we're going to end up with 10 treble crochets in total when we're finished round 2. Okay, and again for the third row, we're just going to do 2 treble crochets into each stitch in the row below. So there were 10 stitches in the row below, and if we do 2 in each, we're going to double it to get 20 stitches in this row 3. And this is just building up from like the toe of the slipper. We're like working from that toe area just up to allow our foot at some stage to get in it. Yeah, it's quite easy. Just, I mean, you can mark the ends of your rows if they're getting a bit confusing, just mark them with like a little stitch marker or a safety pin, but it's quite nice work just working around 2 stitches in each one. Okay, at the end of row 3 you can just check the gauge of your work, which is just to do with the size of your stitches, and so at the end of row 3 you should have a circle that's roughly 2 inches wide in and around that. So if it's not 2 inches wide, that means like you're maybe not using the correct hook size. If it's a lot bigger, then maybe your hook is too big, so you need to use a smaller hook. But yeah, like I'm using Aran weight, and I'm using a very small hook, 3.5, which is quite small to work with Aran weight. Normally you would use about a 5, millimeter hook, but you need to use the 3.5 to get the tightness which you want in your slipper. You don't want it to be too loose and baggy. You want it to be quite tight so that it stretches, but it's not going to fall off your foot. So if you just check at this stage that it is about 2 inches wide, then we go on. I've marked the end of my row because it is tricky to find out where you are, and we go again. We do, for row 4, we do 2 treble crochets in the next stitch, and then the stitch after that we do 1 treble crochet, and then we continue that pattern. So 2 in the next stitch, 1 in the one after that, 2, 1, 2, 1, until we get back to our end of row marker. Okay, so when you finish row 4, that's brought us up, that pattern brought us up to 30 stitches. So now with that 30, we're just going to continue to do a single treble crochet in each stitch for row 5 until row 9. So that's a lot simpler to just continue on round in the circles as we were doing, but just 1 treble crochet in each stitch, and just move your marker so you can count the rows, and then when you've got your 9 rows done, you can stop and check there the size for your foot. Okay, so I'll see you back there when we're ready for that stage. Okay, so at the end of row 9 you should be here with the toe part of the slipper done. So that's what it's going to look like on the finished piece. So now we're going to make the rest of the slipper. So at this point we chain 2, and then we triple crochet into the next 21 stitches across. Okay, so when you've your 21 stitches done, it'll look like that. Okay, so it's not quite wrapping round the full way, and basically you just keep doing that for the next well, up to row 21. So that was row 10. So we just chain 2, and then row 11 we just go back across that, going into each of the 21 stitches with a treble crochet. So row 11, 12, right up to 21, and like that's going to make, you know, like the average female slipper size. This is based on, like, you know, sort of my foot. Actually my foot I used 2 extra rows of stitches. I went up to row 23, so like I'm a size 6, so it just depends on your shoe size. You can adjust that so that it fits onto your foot, and then when you have got it to the correct length, I'll show you how to seal it off before we do edging. Okay, so I have completed now up to row 23. So this slipper just closes in round my foot, but there's going to be stretch to, you know, like it's not falling off my foot, it's still, there's a bit of stretch in it to get it round it. So now if we just cut off a tail, okay, so cut off and leave quite a long tail. And we're going to close the back of the slipper. Okay, so you want to just with the tail work through both sides at the back, with a slip stitch. So go through, yarn over, pull it back through and pull it off the hook, and make sure you go through both sides of the stitch. Okay, and do your last slip stitch, and you can just pull the whole working thread through. Okay, so you just tie off, and then if you just sew in the two ends, you can turn your slipper inside out, and then we're ready to do the edging along the top. Okay, I'm going to do the edging of the slipper now in another colour, just so it's easier to see. So I've tied on the yarn and pulled up a loop, so I'm just going to chain one to start. That's going to act as my first double crochet, and then you just go into each stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and take both loops off, and that's it, just double crocheting in each stitch all the way around until you get to the corners, and then we're going to put 3 stitches in each of the corners. So I'll work along to that edge, or sorry, to the corner, and then I'll show you how to do a corner. Okay, so this is my corner in here, and in the one before it I'm going to do a treble crochet. So you take 2 off, then you yarn over and take another 2 off, and I'm going to do a treble crochet in my corner stitch, and I'm going to do a treble crochet in the stitch after the corner, and then we continue with our double crochets until we reach the next corner. And then at the next corner we stop again, just the stitch before. Okay, and I'm going to do a treble crochet in the stitch before, and a treble crochet in the corner, and another treble crochet the stitch just after the corner, and then you go back to your double crochets all the way back round to the beginning, and then that'll be the finishing of your edging. You do not have to change colour. I have only changed colour so that you can see what I'm doing, but it'll probably look a lot neater if you stick to the one colour. Okay, when you're back round then to the beginning, you just tie off as usual. And then you're just going to have those 2 threads to weave in, and that is you done. You just have to make 2 of them.